All right, everyone, here we are with another video with Invest for Tomorrow. And to all the first-time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. And to all the subscribers, welcome back. As we dive into everything this chart that we're going to look at and video has to offer us, I do want to share with you guys the fact that we're going to talk about the tweet of the day towards the end of this video and another ticker symbol that you may want to add to your watch list as well. But we're going to jump into this one first. We'll talk more about that later. So I have BlackRock here pulled up, and BlackRock is one of the largest institutional investors around the world. And BlackRock owns a pretty big stake in the company we're about to talk about. So I just wanted to pop it up. And if you guys don't know who BlackRock is, and those of you that know who ARK Invest is, BlackRock is a bigger version of ARK Invest, right? ARK Invest is a much smaller institutional investor. BlackRock is pretty big and diversified in many sectors beyond what ARK Invest has been focusing on. But ARK Invest has their strategy and it's been working pretty well for them. But just to give you guys an idea. So here we are. The company's name is GERON. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly, but the ticker symbol is GERN. We're going to look at its chart in just a moment. But they focus on the medical sector of targeting the hallmark of cancer, which is the unique molecule, right? A first-in-class telomerase inhibitor. Okay, this is a big deal, right? The telomerase inhibitor, and they're first-in-class, right? So it's going to be very important to keep in mind that they're still in clinical phase trials, but they are the first-in-class when it comes to this technology. If you guys want to look at more information about them and who they are, you can go ahead and type in GERON on Google and then it should pop up, or if not, GERON.com, and you should see something similar to this page. You can go on over to the overview where it says about us, and it'll give you a brief summary of what the company is working on, and it's very interesting to me. I'm not going to go ahead and read all of this because I may mispronounce some of these words, and I don't want to disrespect any of these words. If anything, these words are a big deal when it comes to innovation and the future of medicine, right? So it's pretty cool to me. I like looking at stocks that are going to change people's lives, and this stock is definitely one that's showing that. It's still in clinical phase trials, and it's the top one first in class when it comes to the telomerase inhibitor, which is a big deal. If you want to go ahead and do more research on that, you definitely can, and you'll see more stuff about it. But it's changing the game when it comes to the unique molecule that is the hallmark of cancer. I'm not saying it's the cure. I'm not saying this company has the cure, but it's definitely going to come out with some type of treatment. And if it comes out with the cure, that's a bigger deal. So let's look at its chart. So its chart right now, when we look at it based off the history, I was looking at news on this company and articles, and some of the news started back here in May and April and even in June of last year. And you could see how it ran up, pulled back down, and it was at 88 cents, 86 cents at its bottom in March, and then it started to recover. Since then, it's been holding above $1, which is a pretty good sign for such a penny stock that it's been holding above $1. And the lowest that we've seen it recently at the beginning of the year was 154, ran up to 236, and it's been pulling downwards a bit. So there's a lot of volatility here, but this is where it gets interesting. So we have our institutional ownerships here. I have it highlighted already, and why I was talking about BlackRock earlier. BlackRock owns 8% stake in the company. Now there's others that have a little bit more. They have 8.1. We got 8.9 here. We also have 9.99, basically 10%. We got 9.6, and others in the list. We got one with 5.21, and this one is Vanguard Group. That's another large institutional investor. And BlackRock and Vanguard, it's not like they're competing, but wherever you see BlackRock, you always want to double check and see if Vanguard's there. And wherever you see Vanguard, you want to double check if BlackRock's there, because they're both always competing to take a stake in certain companies. And if not, if they see one do it, they do further due diligence and then they jump in. And if they're making similar bold statements, like 25 million one and 16 million the other, they both know something that is making them stay here or even load up as we see it. And when we go down here and we go to the 1st of basically March, which was yesterday, you can see Vanguard ETFs and indexes popping up here, taking stakes here, even one with 4 million, another one with 8 million. These are bold statements after bold statements, and many others as well. I mean, this list has some big numbers, right? We got some that are more conservative, but there's some large numbers and amounts being added into this company. So this phase 2 trial is seeming pretty promising, and I think that it's something that they're looking forward to. The company's doing really well at holding itself up above $1, and I think that is definitely something to be aware of and something to watch as this continues to play out. I honestly don't have any position yet on GERN. I'm adding it to my watch list now, and I'm definitely going to watch this closely moving forward. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button if you learned something new and found this video helpful and informative, found out about this company for the first time, and stay tuned till the end because I have more information to share with you guys with the tweet of the day and a ticker symbol to add to your watch list. For everyone that has stayed to this point in the video, the ticker symbol I'm about to share with you guys is definitely one you want to add to your watch list because we've been talking about it as it was going down back in February 21st over at the Patreon. So we're going to look at that in just a moment, but let's talk about the tweet of the day. And the tweet of the day is, when you know and understand the stock you are invested in, nothing can stop you from holding or buying more. Selling isn't an option. Does anyone have a stock in their portfolio that gives them this conviction? So I want to start off by saying thank you. And it was a very bold statement from every single investor that commented on this post. I really appreciate you guys stepping forward, sharing those stocks that give you this conviction based off your portfolio. And that means a lot. And it shows that you guys are on the right track to becoming much more of an investor that maximizes profits and minimizes losses. So I look forward to more investors engaging in these type of tweets that I will be posting daily. And also, I want every single investor and viewer that is watching to be aware that this is a very important part of an investor's life and lifestyle and building a portfolio. You need to have at least minimum one stock that gives you this conviction. Then nothing can stop you from holding it and buying more. Now, you obviously want to understand the stock and the company, but you need at least minimum one. Now, if you want to build a strong portfolio, you need to have at least 3 to 5. That's just something that I've seen work, and that's just something that I'm stating as a general perspective. But if you can do more than that, that's even better. If you do less than that, that's fine as well. But you just want to make sure that you're able to diversify just a bit and also find those stocks that give you that conviction that selling is not an option, because long-term investing has proven to be much more profitable, even though it's a slower process, than day trading and swing trading. Nothing against day trading and swing trading. Very effective trading strategies. I use them as well. But you always want to have a portfolio that you can always look at and say, no matter how red I am in this area, this stock is pretty stable or slightly red, but I see the days of it turning green ahead of time, right? That it's coming in the days ahead, or usually they stay green for you and the rest of your portfolio is sometimes a little bit rocky. So if anyone can go ahead and agree with me with that statement, you're more than welcome to. In the comments down below, I would love to see your guys' thoughts, but this is a very true statement, and I want every single investor and viewer to be aware of it. You need at least one stock minimum to give you this conviction. And then you also want 3 to 5 if you're trying to build a strong portfolio. So what's the stock to add to your watch list? Well, it's GNOG, Golden Nugget Online Gaming. So we talked about this one since February 21st over at the Patreon, and this is what I had stated. What attracted me most to these stocks? One of them was GNOG, and I posted it here with the graph, and you could see what price it was at. And the 21st of February was actually on the weekend. I talked about it for the first time on the 20th, and then on the 21st, I gave a full description of what is attracting me to this stock specifically at this week and at this time. So it had been in a downward spiral. It's close to becoming oversold. Now this could continue downwards. I stated that because we're nowhere near oversold. There was still room there. And the MACD was showing room to continue downwards. Or end up in sideways movement, which can be an opportunity to watch closely. jikh is in a sector with potential in the upcoming months and even years. That is why this one is definitely one to add to your watch list. This was the time to watch this stock. And every single stock, as it's going downwards, it's the time to watch the stock and understand it. So let's go ahead and go over here to the 30-minute and see where it was at on February 21st. Well, we went ahead and caught it right at this point when we were talking about it. It was sitting around here. The 22nd, it started to go downwards. We were watching it, and this is the 30-minute time frame. But when we go over to the 1 day, which is the same chart that I was using, we could see that the oversold was almost there. We were really close to it. The 22nd, it had finally touched it, right? It was sitting right here on that picture. It touched it. It broke through it. And the 23rd turned out to be the lowest that we've seen this stock hit. And it hit a low here of $13. Bounced back, touched it again. And from that point forward, it's taken off, right? I'm not saying it's going to take off to oversold and that it can't come right back down to this area, but it's been pulling upwards. So it hit its low. It was fighting in the $14, $15 range, and it started to run up, and it hit a peak here of $16.76, sitting at $16.18, and it certainly continued that downward trend as I stated. But when you also look at it, we're now back to a slight sideways movement since the day I talked about it as it was going downwards. Now this stock has shown its potential, right? All the way up here in the 20s and probably even higher in the past. And it's been pulling downwards. It hit a bottom and the oversold section was touched. And since then, it's been pulling upwards. Now the volatility of the market with the ups and downs is bound to happen and be normal. But in the last week, a lot of great things have been happening for jikh when it comes to expansion and also getting into more states and stuff. And this sector overall has so much room for growth. So it is definitely one to watch carefully. We want to see if this pulls right back down to $14, $15 range, or will it consolidate here before the next catalyst? I mean, there are definitely a lot of reasons why to watch this closely, but we do know its lowest point was $13.40. And even if it breaks through that, I mean, this still has a lot of potential, and we'll have to watch it even closer. But for right now, it's shown strength, and it's brought itself up to newer levels, back to that sideways movement effect. And if it can consolidate here, and all it takes is another catalyst to hit newer highs, I mean, this was the best time to watch this carefully to understand that the strength is there, the consolidation, and now we're going to newer highs and new resistance levels. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.